Charlie had a room all right. It consisted of a single sleeping bag, a desk, angle-poise lamp, and more books than Rebus had ever seen in such an enclosed space. They were piled against the walls, reaching in precarious pillars from floor to ceiling. Many were library books, well overdue. "Must owe the city fathers a small fortune," said McCall. There were books on economics, politics, and history, as well as learned and not-so-learned tomes on demonism, devil worship, and witchcraft. There was little fiction, and most of the books had been read thoroughly, with much underlining and penciled marginalia. On the desk sat a half-completed essay, part of Charlie's university coursework, no doubt. It seemed to be trying to link magic to modern society, but was mostly, to Rebus's eye, rambling nonsense. "Hello!" This was shouted from downstairs as the two constables started to climb the staircase. "Hello yourselves!" McCall called back. Then he shook the contents of a large supermarket carrier bag onto the floor, so that pens, toy cars, cigarette papers, a wooden egg, a spool of cotton, a personal cassette player, a Swiss Army knife, and a camera fell out. McCall stooped to pick up the camera between thumb and middle finger. Nice model, 35mm SLR. Good make. He gestured with it towards Rebus, who took it from him, having first produced a handkerchief from his pocket with which he held it. Rebus turned towards Tracy, who was standing against the door with her arms folded. She nodded back at him. "Yes," she said, "that's Ronnie's camera." The constables were at the top of the stairs now. Rebus accepted McCall's offer of the supermarket carrier and dropped the camera into it, careful not to mess up any prints. "Todd," he said to the constable he knew, "take this young lady down to Great London Road Station." Tracy's mouth opened. "It's for your own protection," Rebus said. "Go on with them. I'll see you later, soon as I can." She still seemed ready to voice a complaint, but thought better of it, nodded and turned, leaving the room. Rebus listened as she went downstairs, accompanied by the officers. McCall was still searching, though without real concern. 2 finds were quite enough to be going on with. "No smoke without fire," he said. "I had lunch with Tommy today," said Rebus. "My brother Tommy?" McCall looked up. Rebus nodded. "Then that's one up to you. He's never taken me to lunch these past 15 years. "We were at the Airy." Now McCall whistled. "To do with Watson's anti-drugs campaign." "Yes, Tommy's shelling out for it, isn't he? I shouldn't be hard on him. He's done me a few favours in his time." "He had a few too many." McCall laughed gently. "He hasn't changed, then. Still, he can afford it. That transport company of his, it runs itself. He used to be there 24 hours a day, 52 weeks of the year. Nowadays, he can take off as long as he likes. His accountant once told him to take a year off. Can you imagine that? For tax purposes. If only we had those kinds of problem, eh, John?" "You're right there, Tony." Rebus was still holding the supermarket bag. McCall nodded towards it. "Does this tie it up?" "It makes things a bit clearer," said Rebus. "I might get it checked for prints." "I can tell you what you'll find," said McCall. "The deceased's and this guy Charlie's." "You're forgetting someone." "Who?" "You, Tony. You picked the camera up with your fingers, remember?" "Ah, sorry. I didn't think." "Never mind." "Anyway, it's something, isn't it? Something to celebrate, I mean. I don't know about you, but I'm starved." As they left the room, one pillar of books finally gave way, slowing down across the floor like dominoes waiting to be shuffled. Rebus opened the door again to look in. "Ghosts," said McCall. "That's all. Just ghosts." It wasn't much to look at, not what he'd been expecting. Okay, so there was a potted plant in one corner, and black roller blinds over the windows, and even a word processor gathering dust on a newish plastic desk. But it was still the second floor of a